So hello guys, I hope all are safe in this pandemic situations, and thank you React Global team for this opportunity. And like I would like to share this like micro interactions, a perfect bow to the arrow of modern web tech development. So most of you guys think what is micro interaction and why this is related to web development or React or like why micro interactions? Yeah. So let me go through it. This is my small introduction, like about me. I'm currently working with a company called Padisul. We are like 2.5-year-old startup. I also two-time G Soccer. I work with media labs for like two products. I also work with like PyCon, ACPC Taiwan, and also work with like big as a volunteer like organizing like Wikipedia, KD, and Elementor. Mm, I handle like two communities in India. It's like GDG Cloud Ahmedabad and Party Ahmedabad. Yeah. Mm, yeah. So I wish I knew how to add animation to my application. This code inspired me a lot. This code is by Emma Boston. Is like UI expert, and it, she works in like Spotify. And I like inspired by her work a lot. So, what is micro interaction? Yeah, everybody feels like so. Micro interaction is like take your application from ordinary to extraordinary. Like you can see, the GIF is right in your side. Like you see, like a lot of things are going when you like slide up, slide down. It's like small animation interactions are going on. So, yeah. So micro interactions are events which have the one main task, single purpose, and they found all over your devices with your apps. Like if you have like phone currently and you open any messenger app, Facebook Messenger app, or in Spotify, or like simple like if you have like currently have iPhone, you can open your alarm app and you can see like there are small interactions, micro interactions, which can help you to like engage with your app. Okay, and then their main purpose is to delight the user to create a moment that is engaging. Okay, basically to connect human with technology. Yeah, so I think all we use Facebook Messenger for like messaging or like chatting, and we saw this really cool thumb when we like long press to it, it's like grow big and it's create like pop up like big, and this like excite us like every time we like press on this, and it's create like small interactions. And same goes for like some of the emojis currently when you like create a small like push a smiley emoji, it's create like small smiley on that face, and these are the interaction connect to human to like technology, and it's like giving you like better feel to app. Okay, so we are talking about like creating a habit. So before like creating a micro interaction, first you need to create habit to your user. So how you create a habit? Okay. The first is like clue. Clue is basically a trigger that initiate an action. Simple thing that you initiate action to open your app, click on the icon and then initial your action. And then you go to the routine when you open the app, scroll down, scroll up. This is a routine. And so in response to the clue, you perform the action, what we call a routine. And then after performing a routine and clue, you get a reward. Okay, reward is basically uh, a benefit from your completing your routine. And after this whole loop work from like clue to routine to rewards is basically create a habit loop. Okay, then how micro interactions like works, or basically how it triggers. So there are four stages. First is like trigger. Basically trigger is like initiate your micro interaction. Trigger can be user initiate or user indicate to your app or your web or anything device, like Like we have like nowadays we have like some smart AI refrigerators, smart AI washing machine. Basically, trigger initiate the micro interactions, and then after a triggering interaction, we create some rules. Determine rules what happen when we trigger some application. Okay, and based on the rules and trigger, we get some feedback like user feedback and what's happening to your app when you trigger your micro interaction and what kind of field user are getting, what kind of pop-up if is user liking your micro interaction or is not liking your micro interactions. And based on feedback, you simply think that you need to change your micro interaction designing or like creating animation, and then you create the loops and modes. So basically, loops and modes are determined the meta rules of micro interaction. So what happening to the micro interaction when condition change is basically decided by loops and modes. Okay, so why do they matter? Why micro interaction matter? When you think like why I'm talking about micro interaction? Okay, so simply think like if you have like micro interactions are only tiny design element, and why do we care then? So I did some research and I read like a lot of article and I came up with the like conclusion. Like micro interactions are basically if we have like every individual interaction are the cell of that make a UX, then micro interactions are the atom of the cell. Like you are seeing the bottom side like set password. So when you user go and type password to your application, is simply he know that my password are strong, weak, or it's like super strong. Okay, so like I'm typing my password, it's like only a four character numeric password. It's not a strong password. But how you user know that this password is not sufficient for like for the security, and this small line who change like red to yellow to green, it's help user to like interact and understand like I am putting four numeric number password is not good for me. So what user do is like he or she put like strong like 8 or 16 character password with the like uppercase, lowercase, and like at the rate or any other signs. Yeah. So after some research on micro interactions and UX, I figured it out like if you implement micro interactions, uh, then your customer revenue growth increase. Okay, we personally implement a lot of micro interaction in our app, and we get like great feedback from the users. We also get a lot of like customer revenue growth after implementing new UI in like our new SaaS product. After like getting a lot of responses by user, like you can improve this UX experience, and then after we get like a lot of customers from the app. Yeah. So uh, from my research and like industrial study, I'm reading one article one day on Airbnb blogs, Airbnb development blogs basically, and I found very great research like the director of user design experience at Lucidity, Michael, writing whole article, and they are telling to the world like they improve like UX like on a great way. They are like four or six member of UI UX team, and basically before they are handling like a lot of work before like changing whole UI UX system, and now they are like same employee and they are handling like more 66% of revenue without increasing any number of employee, any number of cost. And they'll manage to like get at least 2 crore 39,400 dollar revenue as per year. It's like 23% growth from the last year they are working on it before the changing UX. So this is how you can increase like your revenue for your company or your product. So little micro interaction or little UI changes matter a lot nowadays. Yeah. So why micro interaction rocks? Okay. So what they do? They basically do a more improve navigation to your website. They basically change, make easier interaction to your website to your user. Then it's provide instant and relevant feedback to complete feedback about a complete action to the users, and they make user experience much better and more rewarding. Also, it's encouraged to the user to like share your link, share, comment down to your content. If you go to like medium.com and you said like a small clap icon, and you click on clap, and you constantly clicking on that clap icon, you get like uh, great feedback, like is clapping and is creating small micro interaction for that particular uh, person who write whole article. uh, this kind of micro interaction help to like the person who writes content and the person who reading the content, between them connecting with the small interactions. Finally, they just make a like site more emotional to the customer, and it's connect like emotionally, and then customer is like your your product is basically your customer friend, and they are gonna use regular basis. What every company target is like they convert your customer reliability and make customer connection very strong. So micronutrition help to like create a customer interaction with your product or web or app more strong way. Okay, so the main question is when to use it. Okay, when to use micro interaction, how we decide when we can use micro interaction, because you cannot use micro interaction everywhere on your website, because it create like a lot of chaos if you use like wrong micro interaction or wrong SVG animations or any if like people don't find it useful or is not adding any value to your website, they gonna like hate this micro interaction and they're not going to come back to your app or web. That's why you need to like think that this micro interaction work for users or not. So before you are using or adding micro interaction, you need to decide if this is gonna work or this is gonna not gonna work. Okay, so when to use it? So you can use micro interaction to like for like swipe, data inputs, for animations. Like you can make your tutorial interesting, like show your current status system, like you're showing like I'm showing you in like right hand corner, like if you upload a file, it's showing you like how much percentage goes uploading, like 0 to 100. And this kind of animation like excite your user to like upload files or upload anything. Okay, call to on actions. You can create like animation buttons and many more things. You can do like a lot of other things beside this also. So these are some examples I'm taken, and let's go one by one. So like left hand side first is like you're saying like Microsoft Outlook app, and it's basically when you like swipe right to left, it's basically delete your email, and like when you create like left to right, it's basically archive your email. Okay, this small interaction help you to like connect with your user, and easily you can user can like interact with your app, and they don't need to go to like up or downside to delete or archive that email ID. Uh, the second one is like basically like Apple home screen, lock on home screen. It's basically create like small animation when you like press your passcode. When you press your right passcode, is basically indicate a pop green light, and when you like press a wrong passcode, is basically convert into red button, red small button, then it bounce. And also like third skin is like if you like press icon to like Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, anything, basically a small pop-up came up to use direct any like you want to post directly without going to into app, or if you want to like share your app any content, or you want to post anything, you can directly do from the like pacing on or holding app. This kind of micro interaction help to user a lot. Okay, so yeah, so how to build a micro interactions? So for building a micro interaction, you need to focus on these three basic base: is interaction, state, and animation. Okay, first you need to decide a state, then into like interact how you can interact, and then final stages like create an animation. And if you are creating animation, you need to focus on this four things. Like first is like accessibility, then reliability, internationality, and performance. So the major thing is like accessibility. You need to focus like how user can access this, what kind of user can access your animations. Then you need to understand what the reliability of your this micro interaction we are creating, and how then performance, how it performs. You cannot create a like micro interaction which like action by after like 5 second or 10 seconds, because user got annoyed if this micro interaction delay. We need to decide how it's gonna perform. Okay, so designing micro interactions. So for designing micro interaction, put yourself into the user shoes first. The every time if I'm talking to my team or anything, I always tell them to like put yourself into user and think how user think or user figure it out about your app when he use your micro interaction, he or she use my micro interaction. Then create functional animation which have not only aesthetic but which are able to enhance the user experience basically, and have fun and entertain your user. So what user feels when he or she used the app, and reason behind the fact that he kept using it. Basically, do not be annoying. So too many animation have the opposite effect on your user basically. And if you like create like too many animation in your app, it's basically annoying user and make them like stay away from your app, come back most of the time. And use human language. Okay, basically what I'm telling you, human language is non-technical. A funny ironic copy can make you forgot a moment, how frustrating it might be a blank page within the app. So we create a human language micro interactions basically. Okay, so the tools we need to design a micro interaction. Okay, so how can you basically we after look back, we gain knowledge like what is a micro interaction, why we gonna want to use, how it can to help the user, how it's come to part of the UX part of your web or applications, and how we design a micro interaction. But how we create in real life, so what kind of tool we need to design a micro interaction. So we need like SVGs, knowledge of SVG, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Yeah. So I hope everybody knows what is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So I simply go through what is SVGs. So SVG like stands for basically a scalable vector graphics, and SVG used to define a vector-based graphic for the web. And every element and every attribute in SVG can be animated by SVG because it's support all the browsers. It's a HTTP request. You don't need to like put any HTTP request if you are using SVGs, and it's make life easier to make animations. Yeah. So animating SVGs, uh, SVG and API library. Like these are some of the APIs which I can share with you, like Snap, Green Chalk, SVG.js, and React Spring. These are the cool libraries or API, SVG API animation libraries which you can use. One of my favorites is React Spring. Why React Spring is because React Spring is basically a physics-based animation library which can help you to create animations uh, in React, and it's basically based on physics. So you can use so React Spring use basically hooks. Okay, and it's like you use like five different, basically six different type of hooks. Use spring, use springs, use tail, use tractions, and use chains. These are the some of the hooks which provided by React Spring, and you can create animation. Lottie is also a great example. It's created by Airbnb. But it's basically used by Android or iOS developer. Also they also support a React Native. So it's basically for the mobile developers who want to create micro interactions. So Lottie is a great library if you want to look into it. Yeah. So let's move into like let's create one micro interaction. Yeah. So let's create one micro. So simply thing we want to create a simple like alarm app. Okay, mobile app for like setting alarm. And so what we think first. Okay, so first we gonna think like what is our goal is. Our goal is like create we do alarm when we set up a alarm and it is at particular time, and it's not set of alarm, it's just a rule. So basically we need to like have a small animation which can help our user to set alarm with like switch on off, like set a time. And this alarm is like basically feel to user is like they are interacting with this, like you can see right hand side. User is like basically setting an alarm. When it's like setting a time, it's changing according to the day and night. When it's like rotating the time, like, and it's basically like small uh, open and close accordion which can help user to like indicate when this alarm you want to set, like on Sunday, Monday, or like for whole week. So after this researching, what we found is we found like user select a time for the alarm to go on off. The alarm goes off and at the specific time, and the user turn off the alarm. This is basically three rules we getting after like researching a small for like creating small micro interaction for like alarm mobile app for like setting alarm. So we show before in our slide like first create a trigger, then create a rule, then get a feedback, and then create a loops and more. So after like thinking and like getting feedback and what researching, we found that so basically what triggers. So if you want to trigger our application, we need like standalone icon to our phone screen, and when you press your app icon, it's basically trigger your alarm app. This first set of rule for creating mindful interaction is like we set our trigger. Then we need to decide to some rules. Yeah. So we decide some basic 6 or 7 rules here. If the user had set the alarm to the like 3 days in a row and the alarm isn't set, prompt to set same alarm when alarm launch. If the user does not set the prompt time, the promote whatever launch until the user does and not select that reset. And so what happened like if user like want to set alarm for like basically for a week and he forgot to mm, like put alarm for a week. So what happened is like basically what default time uh, alarm gonna gonna ring, and it's not gonna help to user. If the country and the phone is like use 24-hour format, use that. Basically, display any set of alarm, show the time until it goes off. User select as the time for alarm go off. The alarm goes off at a specific time, and if after a week use the user has never pressed snooze, remove it from the alerts, and the user can turn off the alarm. These are set of the rules which we can set for the alarm app for creating micro interaction. And after getting like feedback from user, we can create a uh, loops and rules. And you can notice that it's already a loop is there, like 3 days in a row that engage system regular wells, and some shorter loops snooze come down. So basically, we like create a like trigger, and then we create some rules. Then we get like feedback from user after creating the rules based on the user inputs, and then we decide this loop gonna work, and we can make our interaction. Okay, and yeah. So basically, I created one small directions. So how this is a small code I write like you for you guys. So basically, what I created is like simple created like small buttons. Okay, so like there's a button for like character R, character E, and I given the classes. Basically, this is a simple CSS micro interactions. Okay, this is no JavaScript or no React library I'm gonna use for this. Because it's basically, I just want to know that how you can create with your migration without JavaScript knowledge. If you don't know about JavaScript, but you can create your and like migration using simple CSS. So yeah, so I created like 5 buttons. I given a simple classes to them, and I write simple
5 minutes left.
CSS. And so these are the like classes like italic, over, and the transform. Transform is a basically give you the CSS benefits. You can after using like transform or transitions, you can like rotate or transist all your like character button or whatever pictures if you want to like play with it. So simply I apply like React. So when I uh, like press on like simply go my mouse to R, it's basically create small animations. Is like go thicker and like going downside. Same thing is like I just take my mouse to the E, is basically go italic. Same for A. If I go for C, like it basically C is going out. And if I go to T, is basically change the color. If I go to the I change my mouse to T. So what happening is here is like I simply write a two-line simple animation using like transitions. I give a simple class like underline. I give a transition to the whole button. I simply pass my timer. I choose like go ease, and yeah, I simply gave the transition to the bottom like. And if I hover, like I take my mouse to the button, is basically what happen is like its border is gonna change and change its color. So what happen is like simply we go to back and we I go to the A, is basically create an underline when I move my mouse to A. Same thing goes for like shadow. If I create a shadow, I simply write small transitions and I go to the like C and it create a C shadow. So this type of small micro interaction you can create by simple writing like 2 line of CSS, and yeah, that's That's it. I hope you guys like it. Mm, So you can connect me on my mail ID or on my Twitter. I'm very active on Twitter. You can ask or you can interact. We can interact on Twitter as well, or you can mail me if you want to like know more about micro interactions or React or React any related to web. Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you so much. How? Okay, so yeah, tell me now about your impressions after this session. As to me, it was interesting because um, that's true. The micro interactions is actually a way to create a really human-like interface and communication to people and users. That's true. So, how do you feel now about after the whole conference? And actually, was it your first conference online, or you have more experience about that?
So for micro interaction topic, like for design system diagram, this is my second talk on micro interactions. Okay, online. Before that, I mostly talk about React hooks. I also take
Mhm.
like a lot of workshops on like how to start with JavaScript to like
Yeah.
React for like 2 days workshop, like 8 hours, one day 8 hours, and second day for eight
Mhm.
hours. I'm also gonna do same thing for next week. Like I have a like 1.5 hour and 1.5 hour session for Next.js.
Okay.
So basically, I'm gonna talk about how Next.js is gonna help you. Yeah. So yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you.
As you remember, we're gonna have a Q&A session right after this
Yes,
one.
yes, yes.
So I'm gonna collect the questions. At least I'll do my best to collect all the
Okay.
questions that are sent to Pine and
Cool.
YouTube
Good.
channels, and then yeah, we'll
Yeah.
connect back. Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.